Hello everybody, it is DAMM time. I am ready to start. Are you guys all ready? I am going to do, I promised yesterday that I was going to do a little bit of showing you how to shade the mandala. So I'll draw a, sort of the skeleton of a mandala. Hello Rebecca, do you go by Rebecca or Becky, or what do you go by? And so I'll draw the skeleton and I'll put like a little bit of the filler, the decoration inside. And then I will show you just a couple of ways that you can shade the mandala just with pencil, just for fun. And you can totally skip that part if you want, but I promised I would do that, and so I will. Okay, let's get started. And all right. So I always say just start with your dot in the middle just to kind of break that big expanse of page. And then we'll start by putting some kind of bigger flower petals. So they can be curved or they can be kind of pointed like this, sort of like a skinny petal or a skinny leaf look. And it doesn't matter how many go around the circle, just how many ever you can fit in there. Let's see, I'll maybe squeeze 2 more in there. So there we go. And after that, and for those of you drawing along, don't worry about, or Chewy? Is that what? I'm having a hard time reading because my phone is way up high, so I have to stretch my neck to see. So you go by Rebecca or Chewy? That's really hilarious. I don't know, are you a Star Trek fan? Is it like Chewie from Star Trek? I mean, Star Wars? God. Okay, where was I at? All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and I want to do just like a little line in between these 2 petals. So just kind of going, somewhere around the middle. We're going to make a line and just tiny bit curved, just like a not straight line. And we'll do that around each one. And just focus on, just making that one little curved line. Eventually, it'll be actually, going around the whole thing, and it'll look like it's layered. But we won't focus on making that circle behind there because that's really difficult. But it's really easy to just make little curved lines going from petal to petal. And you notice I'm turning my paper. Go ahead and when you're drawing, make sure and turn your paper as you draw. One, it's really much better for your wrist. These tendons get really sore from doing this. And also it will make your lines and shapes look better and be smoother if you're, because you're kind of having that same movement going around instead of trying to, do this and do all that. It makes your lines really wobbly. Okay. So let's see, let's go ahead and I'm going to make like kind of a larger leaf shape on top of these. So just a little bit fatter. And just start, somewhere in the middle of that, top section of the skinny leaf. And remember, we are not worrying about perfection, or we're not trying to make high art here. We're trying to, see, talk about not perfection. To see how tiny that one is compared to that. But that is okay. I'm a pretty bad perfectionist. And so drawing mandalas has really helped me with that and just being able to let go. Oh, also, that's why I recommend drawing with pens and not pencils, because if you're drawing with a pencil, your inclination is to just want to erase every line that's not exactly perfect or is a little bit crooked and things like that. And we don't want to focus on that. We want to just focus on the lines that we're making and just kind of go with the flow. So speaking of that, when you're making your lines, and those of you who have done mandalas with me before know this, I want you to think about the lines that you're making. So let's see, let's make some like just kind of curly lines, spiral lines coming out from somewhere in this part of the leaf. And so we want to think about starting our line, drawing our line, and then stopping our line. So, and that just keeps us from just kind of haphazardly making lines and getting really sloppy. And again, not the purpose to be perfect, but the purpose to keep very mindful and in the moment of the lines and the shapes that we're making. So let's go ahead and make these spirals going out. And don't worry if these are looking wonky. It doesn't matter at all. And when we finish our mandala, you really won't be able to tell that some are bigger than others and some are more curly than others, and it won't make any difference at all. I just thought it'd be fun to have sort of some different kind of shapes going in. All right, let's see. Now let's go ahead and let's make one of my favorite kind of shapes, which is my chubby triangle. So we're gonna make it actually from the center of these where the spirals meet. We're going to start here and in there, and let's just give ourselves a guide point, at least for the first couple. So you start your line, and it's just like kind of a bowed out triangle, or okay, that one's not so bowed out, or what I call a chubby triangle. So I'm just going to put my guideline there. And again, if I turn my paper, it will be easier to draw that same line, but it's hard for me to keep turning my paper with the camera positioning, so that's why I kind of try to do it without. All right, how are we doing so far? Getting these chubby triangles in place. And again, if you need to carry through the entire thing, making your little guidelines, or your guide marks, it really is easy for your eye to travel, to make your hand go to that spot. So feel free to make those little dot guidelines whenever you need to. All right, let's go ahead and let's make another kind of circle going behind these. Let's see, who else has popped on? Mel, hi. Sonia, hi. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you're drawing a mandala with us today. Okay, so let's go ahead and from like the center of these petals, go ahead and make another curved line. And it doesn't have to be exactly the center, just somewhere in the middle will be close enough. When we have it all done, it will look like a really nice circle, even though if you put a circle template under there, I'm quite sure it would not even be close to being a perfect circle. But your eye connects all those lines and adjusts and makes it look like it's a much nicer circle than it actually is. Let's double that, and let's go kind of in between where we started the other one and just put another. So we're going to kind of have like a double circle under there. Let's see, I need to keep track of time because I have to be to my neighborhood sing-along at 6, which is like, 2-minute walk down the street, so not that big of a deal, but okay, so let's go ahead and inside of these, let's make kind of a larger, like a puffy leaf shape. So sort of like this shape, just bigger. So we'll just come around and do this. And again, if you want to make those guidelines, you can do that. Or you can just eyeball it, which is usually good enough. All right, and last one. Well, for me, if you guys aren't keeping up exactly with what I'm doing, that's fine. You can just do what you can and complete it after, or whatever you would like to do with that. I know it's hard to, I can't judge how quickly everybody else is going or not. I try to not go too fast, but I also try to not drag it out to where everybody's like snoozing by the end. Okay, let's put a like a leaf shape in between and just make them a little bit bigger. It might be bigger than I wanted, but you know what? We'll work for it with it. And so this is just like, like a pointed oval or a leaf shape, just coming up in between these fatter leaf shapes. There we go, and last one. Let's see, what are we going to do now? Let's make so that we have a repeat of some of these other shapes in here. Like I said, it's like in design, when you want to introduce one kind of shape, a lot of times you want to introduce that or do a second of that kind of shape, just to kind of bring the design together. It's a little bit more, nicer to look at as a design. So we're going to do this kind of curlicue here, just coming up from maybe midway on these. And I'll show you and then you can. So let's just do like a curl like that. So we go up towards that skinny leaf and then curve inward. And this is definitely breaking away from like a standard mandala because we're doing a lot of open work and not having everything be connected and be basic shapes. But that's what's fun about mandalas, is you can just throw anything in there that you want. All right, let's get these out, and then we'll start, put a few like just kind of decorations in the middle, and then I'll do a couple of minutes of showing you how to shade. I'm going to on top of these, I want these to be connected somehow, so I'm just going to put like a little chubby triangle shape in between those two. Hello, Linda. Are you even still there? I just saw your name pop up, so I'm not sure how long you've been there or if you're even still watching. All right. And I'm just putting these on because I felt like these just looked a little loose. I felt like it needed some sort of closure in there. And, okay, one more thing. I'm going to put a circle on top of these. Just your basic circle. All right, let's move on. Okay, so I'm not going to do much on the interior because I want to show you some shading, but one of the, my favorite things to do is to, make these type of shapes look like leaves. And that's just something that I like to do because I like very organic, sometimes even botanical looking mandalas. But obviously you can put any type of decoration in them that you want. All right, I'm just going to do a couple of these. You can finish yours after so that I can, just move on. Because decorating the inside is definitely can be time consuming. Another thing that we can do is put like kind of these teardrop shapes inside of here. I like this a lot. And let's see, what time is it? All right. And there's lots of other fillers that you can do, and you can look back at some of my other videos if you want to, look at more things to fill in. Anything from like, double lines to, repeated shapes. You can put in spirals, you can put in lines. Like one thing that I like to do is put in, kind of just stripes in these type of shapes, and that's because I really like the contrast of like a geometric type of shape like stripes or something along with a very organic shape. I just like that contrast together. So let's actually move on to the shading so I can show you a little bit of that, okay? And you can continue to fill these in as you like while I'm doing this, or you can actually just grab a pencil and try to, do some of the shading with me. All right, so several different ways we can shade. One is shading individual sections, individual, shapes or elements, and one is shading the mandala to make it look more 3D. And so the way that we would do that, let's start with that. The way that we would do that is something like putting a little bit of shadow behind these discs. So, and that will just make it look like it's sitting on top of each other. And I'm just going very lightly with the pencil. I'm not, doing any fancy shading. You can get more into that if you want. You can even just with your finger kind of smear the shading a little bit to have more of that, shaded look, but it's not even necessary. And then so behind this outside ring, we're going to make that shadow just on these leaf shapes. And that again is to just make it look like it's layered on top of each other. And again, smear that out a little bit if we want. And let's see, we can do that on the inside one. So once you have this, and especially going all the way around, it really makes it pop and makes it look like things are layered on top of each other, like they have a shadow underneath. And in addition to that, you can do shading in between sections. So like, having the shadow of this flower shape over the top of these circles. So we'll just put the little bit of shadow there. And that will make that pop out. And remember, we're wanting to keep the shadow just on this circle plate. Don't bring it all the way out into this open space, because this is even further underneath. You can get like really fancy with the shading, but we're going to just keep it just focused on overlapping these circle shapes here. So we can do that on each one. And again, if you want to kind of, feather those out, you can. And you can use fancy shading stumps if you want, or tortillons, but a finger or a Q-tip works just as well. All right, let's see. The other thing that we can do is we can shade individual elements. So let's do some shading on these leaves. So I'm just going to put a little bit of shading up the middle, and I'm just feathering it out a little bit at the base and a little bit at the top, and keeping that then in the middle. And you can feather that out, and that will just help give the leaf some depth. And you can do that on each one of these little veins too. And then if you want, you can even do a little bit on the outside, as if the leaf is kind of turned out a little bit. And then that will just really make that leaf look like it's very natural and organic and being folded up a little bit where the veins are. And doing the shading on things just really adds so much interest and depth to your mandala. But it's definitely the next level. You don't need to do that. It's only after you've, kind of become comfortable with, making the mandalas, and you want to do a little bit extra. Yeah. And then let's see, one last element, and then I need to pop off. So let's go ahead and do these circles that I put up here. So to make a circle look like a ball or a sphere, we're going to just make our shadows all around the edges. And if you make it the very edge darker, and then lighter as you come in, and you can actually, rub that around with your finger too, and just emphasize that. Then you get that look that it looks like, it's like a sphere instead of a flat circle. Makes sense? How's that? Let's see, is people commenting? I'm sorry, my phone is so up high I can't, I have to kind of stand up to see the comments. CJ, I'll have to go back and watch. Are you doing this all freehand? Yeah, no, I don't have any circle templates. I do have a circle template available to print if anybody's interested. And it's just, if this paper is too thick, but if you have like regular drawing paper, you can actually just slide it underneath, and you can just see a shadow of the template to use as a guide. But really, unless you're really wanting to make it more, perfect, you don't need to do that. Just do it freehand, and it'll all be good. You are very welcome, Mel. And string, you mean to put a point and draw the string around? Kind of like a compass type of thing? I've done that, especially for larger mandalas. I have a huge mandala on my studio wall that I did. That's exactly how I made, because it's almost impossible to make a nice circle when it's 6 feet across. Okay, let's see. I need to pop off. If anybody has any questions on any of the elements, any of the shading, anything that I did at all, please let me know. If you would like a copy of that template, I will, let me know in the comments. I can post the link to it in the comments. Also, I think I have the link in the event page that I have for DAMM time. I have not only a link to the, or I think I actually have, yeah, I have a link to the template that you can download and print. And I also have a list, it's quite a long list because it's for my workshops, of tools that I use, the pens and pencils and things like that that I use, if you are interested in that. Anyway, that is great. I am going to log off. I hope everybody had a great time. And if you drew mandalas, please share them with me. I want to see. Also share this video. I would love for everybody to, have access to drawing a meditation mandala with me, or even just watching along. And yeah, that's it. I gotta run. Thanks everybody. I will see you next time. Mwah. Bye-bye.